rougher than Knuckles. The best of them, tougher than Knuckles. You can call me Knuckles.
Yo guys, Punkrat another video. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are already aware of this topic. So there's three big topics that have been circulating within the community lately. There's obviously layering, which is the #1 point of contention that everyone's complaining about. There's 1.12 potentially being too easy of an experience for what people are looking for in Classic. And the third one that everyone's talking about, or a lot of people are talking about, is melee Leeway. Okay, so Leeway is actually a system implemented within the old version of the game where it was meant to combat high latency and also the input lag, because in the old client itself, it wasn't as smooth and there would be sort of like input lag within every input that you put into the game, almost like a little buffer automatically. And people had really bad latency back then. There weren't too many servers located across the world, and most people were pretty, far away from the actual server itself in 2006. And people had bad internet, DSL connections, and what have you, and download speeds of like not even a megabyte per second. So most people were actually around, I'd say, 150 ping, and that was considered pretty decent. As a kid, I was around 150, 160 ping generally, playing from the East Coast in Canada, and the server that I was connecting to is, I think, in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. So you can tell that that's obviously pretty far away. And in order to combat that high latency and input lag, they implemented a system within the game that would help melees be able to connect with targets that were running away from them. And that's what melee Leeway refers to, is when two targets are moving simultaneously, if one's chasing the other or vice versa, and they're both in combat, then the melee strikes are actually increased by 40% about in distance. So this means if you're chasing an enemy target and trying to hamstring it, you'll get a little, 40% increase on the distance that you can hamstring an auto attack while chasing that target. So it's easier to connect melee abilities on that target when they're running away and trying to get away from your melee zone. So just to show you guys visually exactly what it is and the way that it's working in the Legion client, this is the video that's been circulating around and kind of getting people, I guess, a bit angry and saying this isn't Blizz-like or what have you. And obviously, there's people on the other side who are saying this is definitely Blizz-like because it was taken off of the reference client that Blizzard's working with. So this is a video from Perplexity, who's a rogue content creator. He's mainly a streamer, I guess now. I don't think he uploads too much content on his YouTube like he used to. So just to give him a little shout out, this is his video. And you'll see this target is running into a wall. So that target is moving, and then he's going to be strafing side to side in order to trick the system to think that he's moving, right? So both targets are moving, both targets are in combat, and you'll see that he's actually able to auto attack on an orc from really far away. So I'd say maybe that's like 6 yards, maybe even close to like 7. I don't think it's quite 8. Maybe it's 8, but it's pretty far away. And you could obviously imagine how that would affect gameplay, right? Let's see from the side perspective. So he's that far away from the target. Yeah, that's maybe close to 8 yards melee range when using Leeway. And obviously, if you guys have been following what's been going on in the Classic Beta, taurens have a significantly bigger hitbox than their counterparts than the other races. So this is the base range for taurens, and then when abusing Leeway, you'll see how far he's able to attack from. Look at this. So I'd say that's about 10, 11 yards. And he's going to confirm that. Like, that's an insane distance. Look how far away he is from that orc that's running into the boulder. He's really, really far away. And that changes everything. That changes everything that we know. That could potentially mean that taurens are a lot more powerful in PvP than we initially expected. Whether you're a hunter, I guess a shaman, although it probably, I guess if you're an enhanced shaman, and or whether you're a warrior, of course. I think tauren warriors might possibly be the best in PvP because of that. And you'll see, look, he has War Stomp. War Stomp is a 8-yard range, right? He's going to cast War Stomp and it's out of range. So he's clearly past 8-yard range. He's auto attacking from I'd say about an extra 2-3 yards, so around 10 to 11 yards distance away. So there's some videos that I wanted to look at in order to sort of analyze exactly what's going on and contrast what we're seeing in classic beta and what we're seeing from old footage of the original game. And I thought the best example that we could use for this is 5/8 kiting, crippling kiting. So if you guys aren't aware of what 5/8 kiting is, I'll do a little explanation here. All right, so I'm doing a warrior over here, and I'm not gonna do anything special. I'm just gonna demonstrate 5/8 kiting. This warrior was kind enough to help me show you guys. So I open up with a cheap shot, then I'll rupture because I got a crippling, and just bleed him out as I stay in his dead zone. So he's not able to auto attack me, and I can just get a re-stealth here, then get some more combo points, bleed him, or kidney shot rather. Bleed him, then vanish, get another bleed on him. So I have double bleeds on him, and I'm just staying in his dead zone. He's not able to pull back an intercept because intercept has a range dead zone. You have to be like far enough from the target to be able to intercept, and he's not able to auto attack me unless I let him close that gap after the crippling wears off. So you essentially crippling poison the target and then dead zone kite them. Okay, so obviously now you guys know what dead zone kiting is. It's a mechanic that was used throughout the later portions of vanilla from rogues specifically, and definitely highly used in the Burning Crusade. And I'm like pretty sure that Leeway was still a thing in the Burning Crusade as well. Obviously, you can see how that is kind of concerning some people. How are you going to be able to execute strategies that were clearly executable back in TBC and in original vanilla now on the new game engine, where it seems almost like, you know, impossible to execute that with the game reacting the way that it's reacting? And I understand their concerns, but if we do some digging, you know, it's not necessarily as clear cut as some people are saying. Now, if we look at Nilio's clip here, so Nilio 3, I found this clip right here, which is really interesting. So this warrior is really trash, unfortunately, and I was struggling to find anything better. He's not a high warlord, by the way. This is patch 2.0.1, which, if you don't know, was actually the pre-TBC patch. So it was the patch that was getting people... it was the pre-patch for the expansion. So TBC hadn't launched yet. It was still 2006. It wasn't January where TBC had officially launched, but they had implemented this patch, which had changed talents a little bit, added arenas. That's why you see he's level 60 doing arenas. But it's still technically vanilla. They're level 60. They're not allowed to level to 61 and higher. And the game system, the actual core game system, still hasn't changed. So Leeway is definitely still a thing here. Yeah, so you can see they're both level 60. It's really cruddy, the quality, obviously. But check this out. So he's going to stun this warrior, and he's clearly 5/8 kiting here, not getting auto attack. The warrior does indeed have auto attack triggered. So let's look at that again. He's going to 5/8 kite right here, right? The warrior turns around. He's trying to strike him, but he's right out of range. And then once he closes back in, the auto attack goes off. So obviously, I think that was maybe about 10, 11 yards. It seemed as though he had, it seems as though if it was on beta, on the classic beta, that he would be attacking him from this distance, right? Because that's about the same distance that we saw the Orc Rogue and the Tauren from Perplexity's video, I'd say. That's about the same distance. No auto attacks are going off, and then the moment he comes in, the auto attack goes off. And then, so that maybe shows that it's maybe a bit too far, the Leeway. Now, look, he intercepts here, and this is where it's really interesting, and this is where doubts come in. So here's where it gets a bit funky and kind of makes me doubt that assertion that it may be pushed too far. So you'll see here he's out of distance, and he goes to Berserker stance, and he's clearly going to intercept, right? So he intercepts. You see the intercept stun just triggered. But it's the old game, and it's super laggy, and the intercept doesn't just immediately get him to the target. This is a bug that used to happen in the game. So his intercept is charging there, right? Really weird. And see, this is what makes this so confusing. Now, you'll see he's going to get an auto attack here off as if it's melee Leeway like we know it, or like we see in the beta, right there. He auto attacked from that far away. Now, that could be just melee Leeway, but that could also be the fact that he intercept charged and he technically charged to Nilio's position, but the game might think that he charged that he's next to Nilio's position because the intercept's supposed to bring him there, but it actually brought him to where Nilio was before, I guess, or somewhere, you know, maybe it's like a visual bug, right? So maybe the game thinks he's somewhere that he isn't based on that intercept bug. But either way, so intercept charge, either way, like this obviously shows that Leeway might have actually been a thing, exactly like it's being implemented in Classic WoW. Look how far that auto attack is. Now if we go to Nilio 2, he's doing this Orc Warrior. So the auto attack just went through there as he closed the gap. It seemed like he definitely had auto attack triggered, and it went off when he was like pretty much in front of him. See here, he's not able to auto attack, not able to auto attack, not able to auto attack. And then when he comes in and closes the gap, or he stealths, okay. Yeah, as you can see, 5/8 kiting was definitely a thing. He's kiting out of range, out of range, out of range, out of range. But with Leeway, it might be a lot more delicate in order to pull that off. So I'm just, it's hard to say, but I'm not exactly sure if it's interacting the exact same way. But again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's literally just the ping that affects it differently. Maybe because the ping is so smooth in the new game and the input is so smooth in the new game that it's interacting the same way, just it's way smoother and happens, I guess, in a bit better, and you realize it more. So this video is what really got me confused. This is from Big Musk. He's a smaller YouTuber. He made that wand priesting PvP damage. Some of you guys might have seen it. It's pretty popular. Now, this seems like something is wrong when I watch this, because I played vanilla for a long time when vanilla was actually a thing in 2005, and I don't ever remember this being a thing. I remember being auto-attacked from pretty far away when you're kiting mobs and struggling to break that auto-attack distance when you're running away from mobs and trying to leash, but this seems way more egregious. So here, let's just set it on slow so we can watch it slowly. He's gonna jump off here, right? On the tower. And then right here. Look where those mobs are. He's in the air right here, and the mobs are up here on the ramp. I guess you could say, or on the spiral staircase. He's being auto-attacked. One's gonna go through right now, watch. Boom. He just got auto-attacked while he was like up a bit, like maybe, you know, like half of a yard up. Maybe, you know, 25% of a yard higher than he is now. And those Scarlet Warriors were all the way up that ramp where we saw them earlier. And they're auto-attacking him. Still auto-attacking him. He's still getting hit, see? He jumps. He's still getting hit. They're all the way up there. All the way up. And he's still getting hit. Look, he's getting hit 7. They're still up on those ramps. All the way up there. Still getting hit, still getting hit. They haven't even shown up yet. You thought maybe that they were behind him there. They had ran all the way down and caught up with him. But they were literally all the way up the spiral staircase, attacking him the entire way through. So that, to me, seems a bit sketchy. And I'm not sure that it's interacting in the same way in the Legion client compared to how it was reacting in the old client. So that's really, I'm honestly just super confused. I don't have an exact stance. I know most people hate it and most people are complaining about it and saying it's not Blizz-like. Then you have other people who are on the other side saying, no, it is Blizz-like, and if this isn't the thing, then Melee won't be able to compete whatsoever. Rep Paladins, Warriors, everyone's just going to be at the complete mercy of all casters and rogues that are crippling kiting them. So obviously people are playing that tribal game, almost like tribal politics, where they're just fighting for their own team. You know, I saw that this one guy made a video on the reacting to the Perplexity video, where he was literally just complaining like, oh, the only reason Perplexity is saying this is because he wants to be able to 5/8 kite warriors, and he was angry about it because he was playing a rep paladin, and he was like, otherwise, you know, we're not even gonna be able to play if there's no melee leeway the way that it is. So I don't know. I'm more in the middle. I'm playing a hunter, so this is definitely gonna affect me big time. Being able to wing clip an enemy target as like from like 8 yards away as I'm running away is pretty insane. But I'm not necessarily fighting for this just because it would benefit me. I think it's maybe a bit too intense, especially within the new game engine. So I think I'm more towards the middle. I don't mind giving melee a bit of leeway, but maybe the leeway is a bit too much, or maybe it's interacting like too cleanly now, and they're getting like 11-yard range hamstrings, which seems crazy to me. Maybe that's a bit too far away for taurens. That might actually make taurens just like the master class for warriors in PvP. But anyways, that's pretty much all I want to say. I don't know where you guys stand on this one. I'm sure you guys are going to have your opinions, so leave your opinions in the comment section. Make sure to like, subscribe, obviously, guys. You know the drill. And yeah, I'm just going to call that one here. I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say on this one. Is melee leeway interacting differently within the new game engine? That's the question. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.